Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello everyone and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time after show for the season finale, season 4, episodes 22 and 23. I am Tiona Hobson, and joining me tonight I have the always great and beautiful and funny Kaori Takee.
Hey everybody!
And then on the other side of the table I have Blake McIver.
Hey everybody!
And Marisa Serafini.
Hi guys.
I don't know why I went up in pitch with your voice there.
Maybe you're just more excited.
Maybe. So we have a lot to cover because we had a 2-hour season finale, and Marisa was at Ryohan all weekend long getting us all the scoop for what's happening next season. So let's just dive right into Operation Mongoose.
Let's do it.
I don't even know, I mean, I say that, but I don't even know where to start, guys. There's so much that we learned in this episode, but I want to kind of jump into the sort of author and what he did. Okay, so we get a flashback of him working in 1966 selling color TVs. He's not very good at it.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Newsflash, you suck.
Well, it's the job that pays the bills.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he's an aspiring writer, like we knew. And then one day, after getting all these rejections and a boss who told him that he doesn't tell stories that people want to hear, he gets a letter saying, hey, we want to meet with you, from Star Publishing. I wrote that down.
The mysterious Star Publishing.
Yeah. Oh, and then on the TV, let's talk about how it was a TV sitcom or drama called Knights of Valor on ABC, and they even had the old school ABC,
Right, the old ABC
logo. I thought that was great.
That's smart, clever.
So when he goes to the meeting, he's sitting with the apprentice, as we know him, and he lays out a bunch of different pins and is like, choose one. Choose the one that speaks to you. Anyone else feel Harry Potter? The wand chooses you.
That's what I thought. The wand
the quill
chooses
you.
the wizard.
There were so many connections like that tonight that I was finding to other things, and I loved it.
It was totally Harry Potter and Star Wars all the way
Yes,
through.
very Star Wars.
Oh,
The lightsaber thing,
yeah, for sure.
It was great.
And
So
Kashyyyk. We'll get to it.
we'll get to it.
Yeah.
So he chooses the quill, and it lights up, and then we have to get into this whole. That's how he became the author. So we know that now.
Right.
And then we see him and Gold finishing the book as Gold's laying in the shop, about to pass out because his heart's turning to coal. And then, right when the heroes are figuring everything out, Hook has gone and found the apprentice for everyone. We're really like, okay, we're gonna stop them. JK, hold the door. Heroes and Villains gets finished, and then we're in a completely different zone.
The worst book ever written.
Yes.
Pretty much. Alternate reality.
Alternate reality.
New story.
Which was actually quite amazing to see.
Yeah.
Because
Very cool.
That's true. Yeah.
it was really cool how they did it all, how we got to see characters out of their normal elements and such.
Especially the Regina switch with Snow. That was the best opposites.
That's the opposites.
Yeah.
See, what I liked is that all the locations and realms were still the same, but it's the characters and the situations still somewhat relevant and still the same but switch.
Yeah, we recognized all
Yeah.
our famous sets and things.
So
Yeah.
it's not like brand new stories in a way. It's just
No.
character perspective swaps.
Right.
So
Which would have been like way too confusing if they started a whole new different
Oh,
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please don't. We
can't
can't. Glad they didn't
it
go
would have
that
been very
way.
confusing. So let's start with Snow and Regina and their kind of story and how it switched, because Regina is technically a villain, but she's fallen into good graces with the heroes before this alternate world.
Right.
She's fallen in good with the heroes, and then she was helping the villains, but then stabbed them in the back and away. So then the villains were like, you're not one of us anymore. So they give her kind of a story where she just never gets happiness.
She falls into outlaw territory.
Yeah.
The middle ground.
She's yeah, exactly.
Right.
Right.
That's why she was even wearing Snow's outfits when Snow was the outlaw.
Yeah.
I loved her wearing Snow's outfit.
She still looked kind of badass with that
she
bow and
did,
arrow. Like,
yes.
I wouldn't mess with her.
No.
No, don't mess with her. But it was so great. So Henry finds her out there and trying to convince her that, that she's his mother, that her and Robin Hood are meant to be together. But Snow is pissed off at her, and not because of, Snow telling a secret. Like, I was wondering what they were gonna have as the twist. So we learned that Regina was responsible for Snow's true love's death.
Yeah.
Which isn't Charming in this
Charming's
case.
twin brother.
Twin brother
was an
James.
evil twin brother.
Yeah.
Which
James.
makes sense because Snow is evil
Right.
in this
Right.
world. I forgot about James.
Yeah, me too.
Did anyone else forget about
For a
him?
minute.
Yeah.
But, I liked how the fact that they were bringing up old characters, it forces us to remember who's good and who's bad in this world. And I was
Right.
like, okay, Regina's good. We have the David in this world who's technically
Impotent.
good. Impotent, yes.
Yeah.
But he's more on the good side. I was like, okay, who are our allies in this realm?
Basically, in this world, David was Sheriff Graham.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The-
good analogy.
Connection
Okay.
there. Oh, Sheriff
He was
Graham,
the hunter.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
He was the hunter.
Yeah, he was the hunter. Snow has his heart and can just scream at him.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't have to scream. I can hear you
I'm
just
right
fine.
here.
And check out the guy liner.
Oh yeah, there was some
Yeah,
David
yeah.
Guyliner happening.
He
there.
had more
Scott.
guy liner than Hook.
Yeah, he
Ever
did.
had.
He did. Hook looked
did.
like clean face in comparison.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. But Regina is the outlaw because of this, and so she kind of has a outlaw who's also her rival in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Because Robin Hood, he's another one who's kind of someone who just is a good person, but in this story, he was happy in this story because he didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So
Ignorance is bliss.
yeah, he kind of was getting a happy ending in a way
Because he didn't.
because
yeah.
he didn't,
didn't know
any-
better.
He didn't know better.
He still falls into the gray area though, like the outlaw territory.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in
yeah.
this version of the
even
story.
in this version of the story. So we know that he saves Snow's, or not Snow's. I'm so used to people saving Snow's life. He saves Regina's life from Snow when they're in the forest at the carriage, and then takes her back to the tavern, and we're like, yes, this is where they're supposed to meet, and they're gonna fall in love and kiss and save the day. And no, he's engaged to Zelina.
I know. I thought it was Mary.
She
was
would
coming
ruin
in,
it.
but
She would
walk
ruin
in
it.
and
Zelina
It was
looking like some busted ass Giselle wannabe.
No,
boy.
I know. But Outlaw Queen was having their moment even in this realm, and then
Yeah.
Zelina, of course, has to ruin it.
Yeah.
Good.
But
always.
here's my thing. I was like, oh wow, Zelina's actually really a nice in person, and she's smiling and happy, and this is actually great to see her this way.
But she really wasn't that different in that world.
I mean, I just didn't see it until the end.
Until we saw her true color
yeah,
start to
No
show.
pun
Yeah.
intended.
All puns intended.
Until I saw that, I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, she's a cool person. She's nice. But I thought it
No.
was okay.
Well, you should kick it with
Marissa's
her.
not
then.
buying it.
Yeah, Marissa was not buying it. I was trying. But
Girl
they
bye.
invite Regina to their wedding, which I thought was a little weird. But
Yeah, I was like, awkward.
awkward.
'Cause
turtle.
aren't even medieval magical weddings expensive too? Like, girl, we don't have an extra plate. This reception is expensive.
It was a small
Why are you
church.
inviting people off the street to your wedding?
you just met her.
Yeah.
Just met her, and you're getting married that day.
But they felt the connection.
They felt
That's
the
what we
connection.
needed to see.
And that's what I liked seeing. So we have that whole thing going on. And then there's so much happening in this alternate world. And then we have, let's talk about Emma, because I was getting angry that we hadn't seen Emma yet.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah.
So Henry, when he finds Isaac back in the city on his book tour, Isaac tells him, Emma's not in the story because I didn't want a savior
Yeah.
in here. And Henry, the reason he was wandering around the town with no one in it, all abandoned and alone, is because he wasn't born in a magical
Realm.
realm.
Which makes sense.
So he
Yeah.
didn't need to go. I was like, man, how horrible is it to just have the writer forget all about you? I thought the writer just forgot Henry existed.
Right.
Kind of like how this season forgot about Henry.
This season did. Sort of
Until
forget.
tonight.
Until tonight, where they
saved
gave
it.
him like everything to
They
do.
saved it this
Like,
season.
here, have 3 speeches, 4 monologues, and 5 stunt scenes. Like, poor
Well, he
kid.
was the serious hero. In
Well done.
today,
Well
and-
done.
But like he's the serious hero, and I like how his character is still the most consistent throughout all the realms.
Absolutely.
Him and probably Emma.
Yeah. And so we learned that, there is someone who walked around calling herself the savior.
Which
And
is so an Emma-like in a way, right? She's not going to sit there going, I'm the savior.
No, but I can see Emma getting trapped at the beginning of being trapped in that story and being
Yes.
like, I'm sure if I yell it loud enough, I'm going to be able to convince someone to
Yes.
remember something.
Yeah,
yeah, well, that doesn't work. And so Snow locks her up in a tower in the middle of the ocean
apparently
somewhere,
unpenetrable.
unpenetrable. And Henry then goes to Hook to get a ship to go to get Emma.
Because he thinks Hook's still the captain.
Turns out in this alternate universe, Hook is the deckhand.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
Blackbeard.
Yeah, it's a Blackbeard of all people.
Of all people.
All people. And I don't know. I was like, who is that at first? And then I was like, oh yeah, but I thought they killed Blackbeard. Did he just...
Not in this story.
Not in this version.
Because the reason they
Well,
couldn't
yeah,
bring Bay
'cause-
back was because, he had died.
Yeah, the
so-
reason why they didn't bring Marion back, it was because she's gone too. That's why I got
Yeah,
confused.
that's what...
So-
But wasn't there an episode or like when they released Anna and Kristoff? And then because Ariel came back and she's like, when they
Oh,
released the
Blackbeard.
boat and
Oh,
like
right,
re-released
right.
Blackbeard, so I don't think they killed him. So
Okay.
he's still alive
He's
in this
just-
realm as well.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
just wandering around.
that's true.
In Arendelle, where
well-
we send people when we're done with them in this storyline.
Well, poor Hook is known as a coward, which is not true, Hook. You're beautiful. And he doesn't stand up for himself. Henry's like, dude, you're the captain. Take charge. And
I
he's like,
wouldn't
"No,
say
I'm not."
coward. I would just say meek.
Well, I only said coward because Blackbeard says he's a coward. Because I wrote that down because I was like, he is no coward, Blackbeard. Let me tell you, he is a man.
Okay, Tiona.
So then
There's a little hooker bias. going on.
just
a little bit.
Just a little bit. So Henry and Hook sail the boat to the middle of the ocean where there is one guard on duty.
Yeah.
They disguise...
It all seems too easy.
It all seemed way too easy. They disguise Henry as a prisoner who is being brought in by the Queen's order. Henry then knocks out the guard with his hands tied with like an elbow check to the...
Pretty easily, I would
pretty
say.
Yeah, just
awesome.
one.
It was...
Can we talk about the
alright.
reference, though, in that moment?
Yes.
The double
yes.
reference?
Yes.
Star Wars reference.
Star Wars reference with the Wookiee
and
prisoner
plan-
works every
and
time.
The world Kashyyyk,
Yes.
which is the planet all Wookiees come
From.
Oh.
Yes.
From Star
Cute.
Wars.
Little Star Wars.
Star
little
Wars.
We clearly shared the geek moment on that one.
Yeah, I'm guilty of not knowing that one.
That's all right. It's all right. It was pretty thick.
It's okay, we got it.
Thickly veiled.
So he goes upstairs to find Emma, who's been chained and locked in this tower for years, allegedly. I thought she was a mad woman crazy.
Yeah.
Because the...
Yeah,
kind
she
of-
was
She
Wow.
was very feral.
She looked
Yeah.
very...
Yeah, feral
Yeah.
great word.
Kind of like what Belle looked
Bellatrix.
like.
Oh, I was going to say Bellatrix was straight.
like that
Anyway,
better?
but no, it reminded me of what Belle looked like at the end of season 1 when she was
Oh, when
locked
she was
up.
locked up, yeah.
It's not like we don't know what kind of personality she was or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how long she's been tamed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but turns out she remembers everything because her prison world moment is that she is in a world where she knows the truth and no one believes her and there's nothing she can do to save the people that she loves.
I think that's worse than having an unhappy ending, like a specifically unhappy ending. I think knowing the truth and not being able to fix it. Ugh.
That's true, but I think that was kind of a dumb move on the author to write her in like that.
It was because it's almost like a fail-safe in your own story
Yeah.
that you're not
Yeah.
meaning to write.
It's like, okay, well, if Henry does find her, you're screwed. You're screwed.
It's all over.
And for him to think that Henry just wasn't gonna come looking for his
Right.
family.
Yeah, you think Henry's just gonna be okay, like waking up all Left Behind style, like the rapture happened, and like just toddling around town by himself.
Right. I mean, you know Henry. He's a brave one, that one.
And what happened to Henry's uncle during this time? Baby uncle, you know?
Baby uncle.
That's true.
Because Emma's little bro,
That's true.
technically he wasn't born in a magical realm either.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the baby, Emma, or Snow and Charming's baby, should have been
How many
left
days
behind
was that
with
baby
Henry.
just sitting there in the loft? Good point.
Plot hole.
Pothole and a poopy diaper, like
Oh.
diaper rash. That's not
That's not cute.
cute.
That's not cute. That's not going to be
Even
good.
for babies.
But again, babies would slow down a storyline.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on.
There's so much going on.
But here's, I mean, this is kind of jumping ahead because I do want to finish talking about Emma, but I think that the baby was actually taken in the other world and given to Belle and Rumple.
Yeah, that was the baby.
Okay.
in
That
the
was their
bassinet.
baby. That's how I'm picturing it in my mind. But
You're the savior.
I'm the same. So Emma knows, and Henry and her are like, okay, we have to stop this wedding for Robin Hood. So then they come down, and Emma runs into Hook, literally runs into his arms.
Yeah.
Falls into his arms, I should say. And he doesn't recognize her, and it broke my heart as
He did a little bit,
bit. He gave a sign of like, ooh, pretty girl, but I'm too shy to kind of really talk to her.
There was a glimmer.
There was a glimmer of it.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit of love between the two of them. Finally, it took a couple seasons, but I might be able to ship them.
Oh,
I'm,
wow.
I'm giving up on the Bay thing because they teased it so much at this 2 hours, and
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I think it is time. I'm sorry about that. But no, let me finish.
Oh,
But only because they mentioned Bay tonight, Balefire, and we still didn't see him, even in this alternate realm, so...
Reference
I need to say that ship has sailed.
Aw.
We're here to support you.
We are. We are here to support you.
So on their adventure leaving the prison, which Hook has locked away the guard in a cell, but Emma's kind of like, hey, we should get moving because before the guard wakes up. And we're like, why? She's like, because Lily was guarding me that whole time.
That
and
one. That one.
Snap.
we know she's angry, and she's also a dragon. So Lily turns into a dragon,
Which was
on us.
interesting because she was kind of a villain in the alternate universe, so she stayed still kind of villainous. So
Yeah, because she still was working. She was working with the people she hates the most.
Right.
Like
right.
she hates Snow and Charming
Yeah,
for ruining
it's a
her
little
life.
Which was probably her punishment.
Okay, well,
by the author.
By the
Like,
author.
I'm gonna make you work for Snow since she's the one you hate the most.
well said.
Because he's
Blake.
just a jerk. Isaac is a jerk. And he's angry because he just wasn't a good salesman. Like, I can't. Okay. Back to the story.
So as they're getting away, the dragon comes after them, and I know that Blake and I were both like, "Isn't this what happened in Shrek? Princess Fiona
We
was
did have
locked
a
in a
Fiona
tower,
It was total Shrek.
guarded by a dragon."
There's a princess
in
a tower.
Yeah.
So that happened. They shoot down the dragon, and I'm thinking with the chains, I'm thinking the dragon's in the middle of the ocean drowning somewhere.
But no.
She got
That was
out of
too
there
easy.
real
Yeah, she did.
quick, got to Snow and Charming, and found them in the middle of the village when Emma was teaching Hook how to use his sword again, which I thought was precious.
Oh, their little sword lesson was
Double
There was a
adorable.
lot of
There's a lot of sword playing involved.
Yes.
That was very sweet, I will say.
It was
Yeah.
cute.
Like,
Really
and it's
cute.
nice to see again role reversal.
Yeah, and I like that they even mentioned, about muscle memory, because that was the one thing I was thinking this whole time. I'm like, there has to be pieces of everyone here who remembers or who will fall right back into the swing of things. So I was just waiting for those moments to happen, and I'm glad that Hook finally did somewhat realize it. I mean, he even was like, so what were we like in this alternate
Yeah, that's
reality?
cute.
Because I feel like we were close, but just the way you're super handsy on me right now.
But like every relationship had nuances to what happens in the real Storybrooke. I mean, even Rumple and Belle, there was still the chip cup. So
Oh.
like there were still
Yes.
elements of what we've already known, but it still happens just in different ways.
Yeah. Which I thought was really clever.
It's very smart.
Yeah, it's super smart writing on
And
this
I thought that was
show.
going to be like memory snap. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know,
Right.
maybe like their minds remember like what happened in a different world.
Yeah.
Or a different story.
I wanted that to happen too, but instead Hook dies.
Well, and I thought this was interesting. I mean, it was horrible, but it was horrible. Don't get me wrong. But I thought it was interesting that it was that sort of corridor by the docks where Hook had his horrible moment, where his love was originally taken from him in the first story that made him set on the path to get vengeance against the crocodile. Because it kind of seemed like the same
same
corridor right off the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, I didn't even piece that together. That's really...
Well, you were busy crying.
I did
trying
cry.
not to cry.
I did cry. I was like, he's not dead. He's not dead.
He's not dead. He can't be.
They
He can't be.
can't kill Hook.
I even felt bad too. I was like, oh crap,
Yeah.
what if this is real shit? They can't have Emma lose 2 loves.
And they can't have Hook die from Charming.
Yeah.
Charming can't be his daughter's boyfriend.
No.
It's just
that's
not okay.
There's
in
no
any-
amount of therapy that can fix that.
I mean, we had
Father
already...
does not approve.
Yeah, and we had already watched Snow take out the heart of one of the dwarfs and just crush it.
Aw.
Oh yeah, that
Poor
was
dog.
trash.
Poor dog.
She's like, now you're down to 6. What?
Want to make it 5?
She just walks away.
I was like, oh my gosh.
That was cold.
Ugh.
Like, I hope no one remembers these things when they wake up from this world, but
Right.
of course they do.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. So Emma has to watch Hook die in front of her, and she, tells Regina later on when they're rushing to the wedding, she's like, I never got the chance to tell him that I loved him. Not once did I say it. And I was like, wow, she hasn't said it to him, and he calls her love, so I don't know if that counts as
No, it doesn't.
saying I love you.
No, he always
No.
calls her love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he calls
he-
everybody
It's
love.
it's a term of endearment for
I think
him.
from the
Yeah.
first time
It's
you
like,
met her, he's
dear,
like, hey love, or
honey.
whatever.
But it's just something he drops that L word a lot, so it's like, okay, be comfortable with just saying it to each other now, guys.
say it.
Just
say it.
Just say
Well,
it.
they had to save it for the finale.
I know.
I know. Which
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
I'm like, keep your mouth shut for a little bit.
So then, who else do we have to talk about right now? Oh, Rumple. Rumple and Belle, because,
Regina during the whole
yeah,
scene.
I was going
Good
to
Lord.
save Regina
Yeah,
for
the
later.
final
I want to talk about
confrontation.
Rumple and Belle for a little bit, because Rumple is known as this valiant knight who comes in and saves the day, including Henry's life from a giant ogre that he just kind of came out and like went whoosh. and
Ogre
then-
Slayer.
Ogre Slayer, even though he couldn't even fight in that war.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, and that's the whole twist, because he didn't even go to that war.
No.
He
Yeah.
went
Okay.
back home, and
Yeah.
so the fact that he is like the leader of the Ogre Wars is the irony.
It's interesting though, because he had the author's complete captive attention when he was like decaying as gold in the pawn shop. He could have had him write anything. Couldn't he have written him like a nicer house, a bigger estate, maybe
Well, didn't,
Electricity and running water.
something? I mean, I'm
the
just
apprentice
saying.
make a joke about the fact that their living conditions is so poor that it's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
ability for
he'll
happy
take
endings?
his place of overlooking Central Park any day.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well, that's over for you, writer.
Yeah, sorry, Isaac.
So,
So much hatred for him.
I mean, he's not a nice person.
He's a bad person.
So, Rumple is going around saving the world and being awesome. And then he comes home to his wife and his child. His wife, who knows nothing about the firstborn son that he had, which he had Isaac write the memory of him
I like
as
that.
being brave and doing everything he could do to help Bay before he died during the Ogre Wars.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really a nice touch.
I love that touch so much.
I liked it for Bay's point of view. I liked it because it was like, okay, at least Bay can remember his father not being an evil person. But I didn't like it for Rumple to be able to
Really?
have that escape, because it's like, no, you made the choices and you're the reason that his life and your life didn't work
Yeah,
out.
clearing
So
your conscience in an inauthentic
Yeah.
way doesn't really count.
It's not, it's cheating.
It is cheating, but I could appreciate the fact that he still wants to remember his son, even though his son died. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a little ounce of love, the little red dot left in his black ass heart. You know?
Right. You see, I don't see it as cheating.
Yeah.
I see it as more coping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
More-
it is a coping
A
mechanism.
more
It's-
coping
Yeah.
mechanism that's easier for him to live.
Yeah, but it's still like cheating the coping way. Like
Cheating magically,
cheating
sure.
magically so that he doesn't have to remember that he was a horrible father.
But therapeutically, it's coping.
Yes. But Belle is super cute in their house with their
Always.
baby and her cute little new teacups that we talked about.
Like a
and
nude teacup.
She's
Like,
finally in the yellow dress.
yes, she's
took her a while.
took her a while.
We'll get to that later.
She's just like happy wife at home, just like, okay. And Rumple tells her, because Isaac has visited him, told him that Henry is a threat to the happiness, tries to explain to him too that this is an alternate universe that I created for you because you wanted, happiness. You wanted a happy ending. So now you have to go kill a kid, basically, is what he told him to do. And I like that Rumple said, no, I'm a hero. Like, I don't go around hurting innocent people. But the only way to stop or to keep his happiness is to do something dark.
Yep.
By killing a kid. I just keep saying that. Killing a kid. Because Henry
It
is
sounds
just
terrible, but that's
basically what it was, yeah.
So he's faced with, like, this tough decision that we see he goes to the church later on, having made up his mind that he was going to kill the kid.
Which proves deep down he's still the same dark dude.
Yeah. And here he's called the light one.
Yeah.
Not the dark one.
Hilarious.
Light and dark sides.
Light and dark sides.
Hello.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that too when he was standing there and saying, you're not stopping this wedding.
Yeah.
And Emma's like, well, no, this has to happen. If you do something dark, isn't it just leading you down the path? Because even though Snow White was good, when she did that to Cora, her heart's blackened.
That's what I thought,
and it was the start of a path to evilness. So either way, this story wasn't going to end up good if he had succeeded.
That's what I thought. I felt like every time you kill someone, your heart turns dark and get more and more sucked in and more addicted to the enjoyment of being dark. So that would have been bad.
Again, I think it's the same way as, like, these characters are faced with the same type of situations. It's just the way that they act upon them and their decisions still lead them down the same path. No matter how it's presented to them, they're still those type of people who will make the same choices over and over again. And that's the problem with all their stories, is that they're having these unhappy endings because they keep making the same wrong choices.
Well, how would you figure then Snow, though? Because she was the queen and there was no good Snow in her at all in this alternate.
Not that we
the
saw.
good Snow in her was
Right.
the memories of James. And whenever people brought that up, it was like, oh, I want to go back to that person. You saw the innocence kind of come back of, I was a better person. Well, he was evil too, but,
But capacity to love.
yeah, the capacity to love and be genuine. But someone said in this episode, and I don't know where it is in my notes, but they said something along the lines of, it's the choices that we make that define us. And that's so true because, like Marissa's saying, all the villains are still making choices. Zelina is still getting jealous over Regina and turning green and throwing a tantrum because there's blood on her dress at her wedding when she had started off so nice in that pub.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Like, there's a woman
that.
dying in front of you and you're complaining about
She couldn't be bothered.
red on your dress?
Vain of her.
Because someone's about to die at your wedding, because I think that's the worst story to have.
You ruined my day.
You ruined my dress.
It's supposed to be about me.
And that whole scene, by the way, when they're supposed to stop the wedding was a little painful for me, I have to admit, because it could have been, they could have ran in there a lot faster. Instead, Regina was like peeping through the door hole for a long time. So a lot of things that could have happened differently.
I'm pretty sure it was more painful for Marissa. Not that I don't sympathize with you.
Only because, and I'll try to make this short. Only because we saw the episode back in like season 3 when Regina was supposed to meet Robin in the pub, and she was just standing there waiting forever, never had the balls to go in to introduce herself. It was kind of like the same thing. Again, presenting a situation to go up to your man, and she still didn't do it. But for this situation, I will give her props to her. She did it for other good reasons to save Henry's life. So there were good intentions of the reason why she didn't stop the wedding. But that was killer. I was like, no, they cannot go through this wedding.
I also was kind of disappointed that Robin didn't stop the wedding because he's making googly eyes at the woman in the doorway instead of answering the question, and then lets her just walk away, and then comes out all happy, like, we just got hit.
He came out all like, all right, this is all good. Oh, wait, someone's dead right then. Let me go help her out or something.
But remember, this is the new Disney Happily Ever After. We're not allowed to just meet once and then fall madly in love.
Right.
Like, there
Unless
has to
you're
be a journey.
Regina.
Yes, and
But they met twice.
Yeah.
and
But in this realm, I mean.
in this realm. And Emma said earlier, because Regina's like, I don't need a man's love is not my happy ending. And I was like, okay, new Disney, preach right now.
Well, it's
and
still the same.
And Emma says, yes, that's true, but love is part of your all happiness. And it doesn't have to be specific. And I was like, yes,
I did
Disney.
like that a lot.
The new message is that you don't need a man to save your life every time.
And if it's a risk you're willing to take,
Yes.
Regina should have taken that risk. goodness.
She should have. And she also should have just, like...
It's hard to take risks.
Yeah. Even when Regina,
that,
Emma,
girl.
and Henry ran to the church and then stopped there and talked for 30 seconds... and then let the dark one or the light one show up in that time. I was like, come on, guys.
Yes, that's what
Y'all,
I'm
they were
talking
fighting
about.
hard for some nominations tonight. There was some, we got an actress for our lives. Stop the plot for a minute. I need an actress right now.
But I love that when Emma's fighting Gold at this point, or Rumpelstiltskin, they're fighting, and then she gets knocked over, and I'm like, okay, Henry's big moment to shine. And then he's fighting. I'm like, all right, he's doing pretty good. And then he gets knocked over. I'm like, what now? And then
I thought Henry was gonna run into the chapel and stop it. If
Yeah.
Regina wasn't
yeah.
going to, I was like,
It's
Henry,
like,
you're
I'll
just
take care
standing
of
there. Be useful.
Be useful.
Go into the chapel
Man with
because
the sword,
your
I
mother's
mean-
not doing it.
at least it's a distraction on the
Yeah.
wedding so that the bells aren't going to go off if you run in there with the light one chasing after you.
Seriously.
Cause a commotion. That's all it takes. I was so angry. But, Regina steps in, very Frozen style, cuts off the sword getting Henry, and instead she's down for the count.
I gotta admit, I died at this moment.
You felt
like,
all the feelings.
I was like,
Yeah.
Regina!
Scared.
I was like, I love you for sacrificing yourself, but girl, what?
It was at that moment that I really knew that Hook wasn't dead, because I'm like, they can't kill off everyone
No.
in this
No.
alternate world right now.
What if they did?
Well, I was gonna be done.
But I did like this twist because Regina, when she was evil queen, she always sacrificed other people.
Yeah.
Right.
To say whatever in her curses, but this time it was a very selfless act on her part to
was.
sacrifice herself. So good on her.
And that's why that didn't count, because when we were watching, I was like, that's an act of true love right there. Like, why isn't that breaking
Yeah.
the bond? But it's because in this alternate, Regina's supposed to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In the other, if it had been in Storybrooke, Regina's not supposed to do that stuff. So that's why it couldn't
Would
have
have
worked like
carried
that.
more power.
Would have carried more power. So then we get back into
Well,
our world.
oh,
Did I miss
Regina's
someone?
like dying.
Henry's.
Oh yeah, Henry saves the day
Yeah.
by getting to the author's new book thing as his bag spills over.
Book thing.
Because
Book
Emma
thing.
finally just knocks the
Yeah.
crud out of him,
That
which
was
is
so
amazing.
great. Just was
Doosh.
boom, a
I
solid
was like,
right
yes.
hook.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
And she's demanding that he fix it, and he's like, I'm not the author anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I see this happening sooner? He's not the author anymore. So that means it's perfect timing for Henry to step in and fulfill the position, which is exactly what he does. He picks up that pin, and it's like, oh, the wand chooses you, Harry. And it's like, yes!
Or to
And it
quote
was.
Yoda, there is another.
We were waiting
One
for that to
chooses the
happen.
Yeah,
wizard.
Wand chooses wizard. She
Yes.
has it written in her notes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that happened, and so he goes in and writes that everything that Isaac has done,
Yes.
all the bad things that he's done, is undone. And then they all,
Due to Regina's sacrifice.
yes,
Sorry,
due to
I had to
Regina's
throw that in.
sacrifice,
Yes.
have to throw that in because
Because
Regina,
Because it matters.
it was
It
because of
matters.
Regina that it got
It's true.
reversed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was a savior.
She was in
Was
her
a
own
savior
right. Yes.
in her own right. So she has done that. They all wake up back in Storybrooke, right where they had all passed out at.
Bless their hearts. These people have been through a lot.
They've
Yes.
been through it and back again. And Emma's like, yay, Henry, you're safe. Okay, I have to go find Hook. Gotta find Hook.
Priorities, honey. Priorities.
Runs over to mom and dad's house. Hook's nowhere to be found. She's like, where is he? He was right there when we all went away. Oh my god, where is he? Oh, he's upstairs.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out. He went to go check on Henry.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be a great stepdad for Henry one day.
Who checked on the baby?
No one!
Where
No
was
one
the
still checked on the baby!
Nope.
Oh no.
This poor
Where's
child
the baby?
has only been alive for a short amount of time, and already people are forgetting about him
Mary
everywhere.
Margaret, you're a negligent mother.
A little bit.
So then, everything's happy at this point, so
So you
something
know
has
something
to go
terrible
wrong.
is gonna happen.
Something terrible has to happen, right? And it's Rumple.
Well, let's say that terrible first thing is that Emma doesn't say "I love you" to him.
Oh,
at that
yes.
part. I'll say that. Like,
Yeah.
what
terrible
the
number
fuck?
one, Emma missed a beautiful chance to say I love you. She saved it though for the moment
did.
that really mattered.
Mattered.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's That is true.
So that's
we
problem
understood.
number one. And then problem number two is Gold's heart is turning to coal And Belle's right there with him, telling him, you know, why wasn't what we had enough? Because in that alternate universe, they were happy and in love and had a family. And she's saying, we had all of that and you ruined it. And what killed me was that he said, I didn't believe it was true. Who could love me?
Yeah.
What? Ouch. Like, I wanted to cry for him.
Well, he did a lot. He did a lot of terrible things, you know.
Yes. But, I mean, it goes back to how villains just keep on ruining their own chances at happiness by making the wrong choices and doing the wrong things. He had the life that he wanted with Belle in that life. He had it already in Storybrooke and couldn't let that be enough and just let it flow and stuff. So,
but then when she said that she loved him and not Will and everything, I was like, oh, I can't just. Yeah.
Yes. Will was definitely her rebound because I read an article where Adam Horowitz was like, even fairy tale characters can have rebounds.
Right? She dropped him like a hot potato.
We all need him.
Yeah. She's like, I don't love Will, you silly beast.
Please.
How could I love him?
Yeah. She said like all casual. He's like, are you kidding?
Are you kidding?
Ain't no thing.
So their moment on the shop floor as he's dying was just, it melted my heart, even though his was turning to coal. But he warns her, you need to get away because once the man is dead, all that's left is the dark one. And so that's like, what's he gonna wake up as is what I'm thinking. She runs to Granny's to tell everyone because they're having a celebratory party because that's what they do every time, and then there's always something that happens at their party. So maybe they should stop throwing them or find a new location for them or something. But they do it anyway, and they go there, and then they bring the apprentice in to suck the darkness out of Gold and put it in the hat. But before he does that, he even says the hat's never been asked to do that before.
Hold that amount of
darkness. So I'm freaking out because I'm like, clearly this darkness is going to leap into one of them. Who's it going to be? And after a long battle with this darkness, it goes in the hat, and the hat kind of is like, nope, I ain't holding this.
Girl, bye.
Nope, girl, bye.
The thing is a girl bye.
Yeah, girl, bye. And then it goes into the apprentice for a second. His eyes go black, and then it's like, nah, I don't want to be here.
Nope.
Like, nah, bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Thanks to Emma.
Yeah, Emma sucks it out and like puts it up, and then I'm like, wait, Emma, stop doing that because whoever this darkness lands on is whose name's gonna show up on that dagger.
Yeah.
And then the darkness just kind of goes roaming the streets for a while, and all I'm thinking is Robin Hood and Regina are out for a moonlight walk right now.
That's right.
Okay. And then of course they all meet up together, and the darkness aims right at Regina.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like Emma said, Regina has worked far too hard to be good, and she cannot easily get swayed back to darkness just because this is trying to take her over. I was like, no, Regina, you are too strong, to let this consume you again.
Nope, not again.
Although she'd be a great baddie too.
She would be, but
and she always was.
She shouldn't.
But no, she shouldn't be.
Yeah, I would have been mad if it was Regina because it's too easy for it to go back to Regina.
No.
Yeah, it's,
if I had been in Emma's position, I would not have done the noble thing. I would have ran into Granny's, grabbed Lily by the hair, and been like, "Your turn."
Here you go, Lily. I know. I just
You're new. You're new to the cast, boo boo, huh?
You're new. We can spare you right now. But instead, she does the noble thing, which is beautiful because I think it's Emma living up to her end of the deal. She told Regina that she was going to help her find her happy ending. In the alternate universe, she told her again, I'm glad I'm here to see it. Yeah. Regina's there with Robin Hood. This is her happy ending, and I think Emma's just living up to her end of the bargain. I'm not going to let you take that away. And she turns to the people that she loves. She's like, you found a way to save me before. Do it again.
As heroes.
This time. Hook tries to tell her don't go, and she's like, I love you. And then pushes him away and like, it's like, take me, darkness. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a little emotional right now.
This is what's gonna happen.
It was their first I love you, and I loved it.
Season 5 is gonna be epic for you.
It's gonna be so hard for me because she's now the dark one. Her name is on the dagger.
Yes, it's on the dagger.
Yeah. It
Which
says
means
Emma
you have a
Swan.
one-way ticket on the struggle bus next season.
Yes.
Super struggle. Oh my gosh, guys. Emma's the dark one. And like it's registering in my head right now
I know.
that
Yeah.
Emma's the dark one. She also disappears, but
Yeah.
the dagger stays behind.
Weird.
And I love that we got an explanation.
So where did she go? That might be in predictions here.
Yeah.
Where did she go?
Well, I mean, if we're going with we've got to get the sorcerer back, maybe she's gone to Camelot.
to Camelot.
Perhaps.
If we know now that we know that the sorcerer is Merlin.
Which is awesome.
But speaking of which, when Henry was in the alternate realm and he grabbed the sword, that was King Arthur's sword.
Oh, yes, it was.
Oh.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, and I wrote that down. That's Excalibur. So
Yes.
we're definitely.
So
So
we're
when they
heading
mentioned
to
Merlin,
Camelot.
I was like, oh yeah,
gonna
it
be
has
great.
to be.
Duh.
Obviously,
And
last
And then
one
they
again.
had the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
It's like there were 3 references to Camelot already, so it was no surprise when they mentioned
Yeah,
Merlin.
when it mentioned it. And I know a lot of people online have been predicting it's like a sorcerer. What's a sorcerer? We know Merlin.
So, this might be moving on to predictions, but maybe Lily's dad is someone from Camelot because that's the next hunt.
Yeah, because
Could
we
be.
learned about the necklace tonight,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
a remnant of her egg, and it's the only piece of her
was
finding who her
Uther.
father is.
Because her mom don't know because they were in dragon
form.
position.
I love
They
that.
were
love
getting
it.
busy as
That's
dragons.
just so juicy.
That's a smart way of making it a mystery.
Do dragons have friends? Like, can you recognize your friend? Like, hey, girl,
Like,
we're with
wouldn't you
dragons
know?
right now.
Wouldn't you know who you were getting it on with,
I
even
know.
if they were a dragon?
I don't know you.
Maybe not.
I like your scales though. Let's do this.
Like, you're not from this part of town, are you? No? Okay,
Nope.
let's go. I know a great nesting spot.
I got a cave over there. I don't know. It's so awkward. Okay.
So awkward.
Wow.
But I mean, back to the whole, like, the dark one thing. I love that the apprentice taught us tonight how the darkness and the sorcerer fought it out. The sorcerer won. He's the only one powerful enough to destroy it for good. But what he did was contained it into one person that could be ruled by this dagger. So at least we have the dagger, which means that Emma can't get into too much trouble.
That's true.
But I'm interested to see where Emma's dark one goes because Gold was super dark and gold and evil, but he also never had power before. He was a weak person before.
Right.
So when he got the power, it was like, yes, I can torment people and make backwards deals
it was
with
like a
them.
drug
And
for
the
him.
guy before him seemed very like dark and just mysterious, like he just was an evil person kind of way. So I'm wondering what Emma is going to fall into because she's not going to necessarily be just like Gold was. She could be a dark one who
'cause
minds her own business.
She's already proven to us that she's responsible with her power, and she's got more power than anybody else. So
Yeah.
And she also goes in as a braver soul in general as a dark one, where the other guy let it get consumed by his weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Henry said the line that she has a special type of power.
Yeah.
Not a better, just a special type of
yeah,
power.
a unique.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Henry, while this is going on, he wasn't out there. He was with the source, or learning about his new, or no, not during this part, he wasn't with him, but he learned about his new role as the writer. And he learns that, just because he can write it, he can't bring back his dad, which is what he wants. And that the power of the pen is overwhelming because he's already thinking, like, I could just write something to change this, and, I could use it one more time, and they're having the talk, and he ends up snapping the pen because, like, no one deserves to have that much power.
Yep.
And we're like, yes, we found the right person to be the author.
Yeah.
Because Henry is just an amazing
Good.
10-year-old who looks like a 40-year-old
He's
man
looking
now.
15 now.
Another Harry Potter reference, like just
Yes.
snapping the wand.
Yep.
Like no
Yep.
one should have that much
Nope.
power.
Yep.
Yep. So that was beautiful.
Poetic.
So poetic. What else did I miss, guys?
I think you covered everything pretty much.
Falcon's Chamber. What is that? They mentioned when they take the heart, it went into Falcon's Chamber.
Oh.
I
Does
didn't
anyone
catch
know
it.
that? Listeners,
Listeners, viewers,
what's
let us know.
Falcon's Chamber?
Falcon's Chamber.
Tell us about it.
Tell me more, please.
Apparently, I boxed that as important information, but I really
alright.
don't remember. Falcon's Chamber.
Oh, and then, I love that we got the resolution moment with Robin Hood and Regina at the at Granny saying, Zelina's still locked up and still pregnant, but we're going to figure that out together.
Yeah, you like that part.
So,
That was so sweet.
So sweet.
I was like, oh my god, I love
Now it's
Green
Marissa's
Heart.
turn to cry.
I was like, okay, the way that they looked at each other tonight, like in all the realms, I was like, yes, that is just a love that resonates everywhere.
That's
and,
all
like,
Regina.
yeah, I know.
It's so
And
Regina.
then like so them together just in the real Storybrooke, that's real, true, genuine love.
It is. It's genuine.
beautiful.
So romantic.
Oh, don't cry
It's
again.
No,
beautiful.
it was very romantic.
I'm good. I'm not going to cry again.
Hashtag outlaw queen.
Hashtag
Who do you
outlaw
ship?
queen.
You're the one that I don't know who you
I feel
ship.
like Blake is our level-headed
I'm
person
an
here.
equalizer. I'm
Okay.
a great equalizer.
Well, mine is smooth. It's he's dead.
So let's get into. I know Marissa has a lot of news to report
Yeah.
from RegalCon,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to hear all of this.
A few good things. So, mind you, these 3 past days, this weekend was RegalCon in Anaheim. This past weekend, it was really fun. The panel. There was like all over the place. There was a bunch of cast members from the show, and there was a bunch of Q&A panels and press conferences. And I went to as many as I could. Unfortunately, they did have a lot of strict video policies that we couldn't, due to contracts and issues and stuff like that. And I think it was only because it was before the finale, so they didn't want any spoilers and whatnot, so there was no videos. But there are videos available up on AfterBuzz TV's YouTube already, press conferences with, let me just pull this up for a second. We have Faustino Debata and Michael Coleman, who plays Sleepy and Happy Dwarves. That was this morning. And then there's another conference with Beverly Elliott, who plays Granny, Gil McKinney, who plays Prince Eric, and Lee Ehrenberg, who plays Grumpy. That's another press conference. And then yesterday there was a Q&A panel with David Anders, Eon Bailey, Lee Ehrenberg, who plays Dr. Will, August and Grumpy. They had a lot of fun things to say. It's pretty much just like their favorite moments and their embarrassing moments, and that's available on YouTube. Go check it out. I won't go into details because you can listen to it yourself. And then today, also the biggest thing, Lana Paria's panel.
Yes.
It's
It was
amazing.
amazing.
So good. Unfortunately, I couldn't get video of
Yeah.
that. She said she didn't really have any favorite moments or characters, whatnot, because she loves everything, and God love her. And Kaori and I, we watched like 5 feet behind her, and we're just in
like
pure awe.
she's beautiful, she's well spoken, and she was just like the perfect fit to be both good and evil. We can say one thing though, right? Is that she was asked who her true love would be, and she said Henry.
Yes.
That was really
Aw.
yeah. That
Yeah,
was cool.
and her favorite kiss in the show would be with Henry too, because she didn't want to like choose
Right.
which is
One
the
of
favorite
her
men
men.
that she
Yeah.
kissed. So
Yeah.
like
Aw.
her kissing Henry was probably one of her
very sweet.
favorite
Yeah, it was
moments.
really
Very
All
sweet.
the hot men she gets to kiss.
Oh,
I'm
she's like,
jealous.
oh, Henry.
Oh, so many.
Gianna's like, really? The kid? You like the kid?
Yeah. Well, lots of stuff. I'll post photos because we were allowed to take photos, so there are photos that will be available. And then today there was a panel with Rebecca Mader, all these names, Sean McGuire and Emily J. Raven, and they said a lot of fun things. This is more fresh in my head, but Sean says he forgets that when at the end of the night when they're filming and they just wrap for the night, he goes home and he remembers that he's still wearing the Robin's socks. And then Rebecca Mader had something funny on her, and she says she still wears Zelina's bras. I'm like, oh,
Hey,
interesting.
you know what? The way that Zelina's boobs look in some of those costumes,
Okay.
honey.
Girl,
yes,
you
I would
go
keep
ahead,
it on.
take that. Bras are
Yes.
expensive.
I'd
Yes,
sleep with
they
it too.
On point. And then Beverly, she said, someone asked her if, because she has her diner and whatnot, if she had a nightclub, what would it be named? And she said the Howling Moon.
Aww.
I like that.
Love
She
it.
thought about it.
Yeah, it took a
People
minute.
know their answers. That's good.
Yeah, and then some of their off-camera moments. Gil McKinney, who plays Prince Eric, he said his episode when he and Joanna, who plays Ariel, when they were first introduced the day before they filmed, they walked the streets of Vancouver and just started bonding and took dance lessons for their big dance.
Oh,
crazy.
that's cool.
So
Cute.
Very cool.
Yeah, so he said that was his favorite off-camera moment. And then, who knew, but a lot of people are actually good singers from Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Gil McKinney sang Part of Your World today.
Wow.
The whole
awesome.
song.
That's
And
amazing.
He has an amazing voice. And then, even to top that, immediately after, we had Beverly Elliott, who sang her whole song. She sang an original song called Mad at Myself. So fun. I wish that was on.
Like
Once Upon a
most
Time
of the
musical?
most of the
Yeah.
cast is
Yeah, there's a lot
musically
of-
inclined
Yeah.
people. So I'm wondering why we haven't had a musical episode
We should.
yet.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
a
Adam,
lot of
Eddie,
theater
get on
folk.
it. There's a lot of theater people in the show.
Yeah,
it should
and-
happen.
And one more quick thing Beverly said about her audition process was it was actually a last minute type of deal because they casted or they went auditioned like a lot of older women in the Vancouver area, but it wasn't quite what they were looking for. The producers weren't looking for. So her agent called her up and be like, there is this role, but you're a bit younger, but just go in because this role of Granny fits more your personality rather than your age and whatnot. And then she went in at like 4 o'clock for that audition, and they're like, great, you got the part. Do you know how to knit? And she's like, yes, absolutely. Hangs up the phone, and she's like, okay, who can I learn from to teach me how to knit? And so
Amazing.
it's like, well, that's what you got to do.
Smart.
And yeah, so it's like, if you got something, just say you can do it, and then learn how to do
Oh,
it.
yes.
So
indeed.
that was pretty much her story of how she got part of the show. But
Nice.
it was really, really fun RegalCon event. They're already planning on a second one.
Nice.
Oh,
Yay.
yay.
Fingers crossed that we can go to that. But again, our footage is available up on YouTube. Check it out, and I'll post photos later. I've been tweeting all weekend long, so I'm sorry for anyone I was blowing up your Twitter. Actually, I'm not sorry because it's pretty fucking
No,
awesome.
no.
Fun.
Oops, excuse me. I was like,
Uh-oh.
it was a pretty fun event. Yeah, so like anyone, and then bunch of costumes and cosplays. Sorry, not costumes. Cosplayed people there. Everyone meet and greets. So
Nice.
much.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm super jealous that you got to cover all of that funness.
Yeah, and I almost shared elevators with like 3 people. So there was one, and then today there was Emily and Bex. They were in the same elevator right in front of me. I could have gone in there had it not been for security.
Oh man.
Then yesterday I walked by Sean McGuire. He was right next to me. It was awesome.
Oh,
So
very cool.
yeah, it's just
very
a,
cool.
a fun
Very
place
cool.
where you can literally meet everyone anywhere.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even the bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
Best place to meet them.
And
Turn the
gosh, there was so much. Sorry, just one more quick shout out. There was a lot of fun people I met there. I met fellow Once Upon a Time podcasters and
Oh, nice.
Greeting from Storybook podcast, and then you should also
Hey,
check
guys.
out Once Upon a Time fan podcast. Great people, very sweet, and they talked about their show and all their connections to Once. Very sweet people, and they gave me chocolate.
Nice.
Aw.
So and
The way into Marissa's heart is just give her chocolate.
Exactly. If anyone knows me, it's one of the quickest ways to my heart. So
So what you're saying is
Yeah.
they might be terrible people, but they gave you chocolate, so they're
no,
probably great
no.
people. No,
Everyone
kidding.
was super sweet. It was a very professional.
Oh, that's
real
awesome.
Con. It was a really great time.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm glad you got to do that, and I'm glad that you got to report back. I am disappointed because I did give you one goal to just kidnap someone and bring them here with you.
I know.
But I mean,
Lana's a bit difficult to.
That's tricky.
yeah, they might notice her missing. I get
Maybe.
it. So next time we know better, get you a bigger van.
Right.
So let's move on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Guys, we're not going to have a new episode until like October.
October.
Is it
Well,
October?
late
Yeah.
September,
it's gonna be-
basically October.
Yeah.
Don't say October.
I would have to say that the fact that it's going to be Camelot involved is really exciting, and I have a feeling it's going to be one of the best story arcs yet. It's nice to go like way back and not just kind of like recent pop culture, but way back. It's going to be nice to see this happen.
It is going to be nice. I can't wait for it.
Me
I think it's
either.
going to be great. And I think, I forget that I just always assume the show's picked up again, but this week it just got announced that they were officially picked up.
Yeah.
But in my mind, there was never a doubt that it was that it was even a question. So I just am throwing that out there because I know a lot of people were asking. But I'm already seeing rumors online that people are thinking that Merlin's going to end up being Lily's father.
That'd be intense, though.
We have other rumors that, what Emma's going to be like as the Dark One. Like, what are we thinking about this right now?
I mean, if Merlin is Lily's father, then he has to be a dragon in one form. Do we know that is there any lore there?
I have to refresh my memory on his whole story.
Doesn't the dragon have to get King Arthur's sword in him? I'm forgetting.
Well, I will say Merlin is known because he dabbles with the dark magic. He's known for transforming into other different
Oh, that's
things
right.
as well.
And he used to teach Arthur by transforming him into animals.
And so, like, if we're going to go to Camelot, we're probably going to see Uther. We're probably going to see Morgan. So a lot of dark
That's right.
aspects. And Lily, who knows what's going to happen with her father and Emma.
Time to read that stuff this summer.
I'm most concerned about who's going to play Guinevere. And I'm even more concerned than who the actress is as to what her wig's going to look like.
Blake and his wig.
Once upon a week.
The Wee Police.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens next season. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys, the fans, for watching us all season.
Thank you.
Thank you to my co-hosts for being awesome and amazing.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss spending my Sundays with you guys. And to everyone watching, happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. Even if you're not a mother, happy future Mother's Day. I just want to say that because I know that, you should be with your moms right now, but you're watching us instead. So thank you.
Yes.
Where can everyone find you guys on social media?
You can all follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. Definitely check out our footage from RegalCon, and thank you all for listening this season and looking forward to next.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake McIver.
And you can follow me right down here, I believe, at KAORIOUS, Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson. You can find AfterBuzz TV all over social media at AfterBuzz TV. And make sure you check out all the other shows that we do and find us this summer on something else. Maybe we watch shows that you like too.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next season.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.